My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state.
This is P.O.C. monitoring with the neighborhood. And this is the Grove. Facilitating venue, the Grove, 8th Street. American Inn, with the fixed signs over me in the evening when I'm walking on Euclid Avenue. In the morning, also documented September 2025, with the fake signs over me in the morning like it is now. through my hotel room window where the people of the state are monitoring, and that's what they're doing here. 8FFF92A. The Grove is gang stalking. The corporate entity that's engaged in the P.O.C. is currently 8:08 a.m. And this is the entity that is stalking, following as one, a government, a population that are speaking to the repeal of the Baker Act. This shall never result in what is the ability to utilize the law as a criminal means of engaging in a calculated robbery through defaming your character and stating that you're mentally ill while a population is gang stalking impossible light all over while these demons are crossing paths with the government that you know is gang stalking with the people. And that's the purpose of the Baker Act. 8FFF 928 with the government that's stalking by plane. This is the purpose of that. And this is the mentally ill that provide ongoing confirmation of their guilt that they are stalking. All right. And the people of the state are going to prison for this. And so are the gang stalkers calling themselves medical professionals, speaking on my character, where you were representing yourself as being someone that was I was a client of yours, I was a patient of yours, you're going to prison. All right, you're going to prison behind the corrupt and criminal and illegitimate use of the Baker Act, whereby this entity sought to get a power of attorney conservatorship, whereby this government, this population that's gang stalking now, has already stolen millions of dollars from me, my identity, and also asserted that I'm dead while they were gang stalking just like this. That was Southwest Airlines, the corporate entity, gang stalking with the Grove. This is American Inn up here. This is the P.O.C. at what is 8:09 a.m. I could not make this up. This is the entity of demons who are lower beings. They're creatures and they're triggered by me. So even though while they expose the fact that they're stalking me, they can't help it because they are in fact mentally ill. They're demon possessed. And that is speaking to what is a surefire prosecution. I win in court, in other words. This is P.O.C. All right, this is P.O.C. This is a population of a population that's being prosecuted for stalking with the government that knows exactly where I'm at. Where I'm at under the fake sun, proving that these are demons who are inferior and incapable of controlling what they need to control in a court regarding the corrupt and malicious assertion of the jurisdiction or authority under the Baker Act in order to procure a conservatorship where gang stalkers were asserting that they were me, that they were responsible for my product, which is the P.O.C, while they're gang stalking. 9939 OB1 7 RGF 446, driving with the turn signal on his light activity under the fake sun. And I'll attach for you the video of the Ontario police who are stalkers. And after 5 p.m. on this same street at Euclid Avenue and 8th Street, where the people is pacing, creating light activity using their vehicles. 8ZUE888 is where the entity is engaged in criminal under the fake sun at this same street. This is the entity that has lost with regard to what is martial law while living war against an American citizen that you thought you were going to kidnap and defame and steal my money and property while utilizing criminal acts such as the Baker Act. This is going to be the repeal. The entity that tries to criminally defame you is the one that is mentally ill. Stalking in this manner is absurd, and it's also demonic. This is the entity that's going to be committed, like 9VDY 808 at 127E as in Edward, 127A as in Apple. The entity is engaged in psychopathic pacing. This is Alaska Airlines. This is H as in Henry, by the way. H as in Henry and Euclid Avenue, stalking, hovering over American Inn while a demon is stalking in the path. All right, these are all sex offenders monitoring my vagina. Pay attention to the fake sun. This is a sex offender. And if it's not American citizen, it's getting deported. When they're engaging in this with the government in this manner with impunity, they're going to prison. And this entity is going to be prosecuted. It's not working for the fire department anymore. It's not working for the police department anymore. It's not working for as EMTs, gang stalking ambulances anymore. It's not remaining in office anymore. The entity is engaging in what is maintaining custody of children. That's not happening anymore. And they're going to be locked down with martial law for trying to steal from me and defaming my character when you're looking at how psychotic these sex offenders are. This is P.O.C. It's 8:13 a.m. where a population of sex offenders can't control themselves on video, where you know that they're engaged in monitoring. And the U.S. government maintains no legitimate interest and maintains no jurisdiction under the law. Where you are engaging in surveillance, you are not diagnosing mental illness as you target that person. All right, and the Baker Act is unconstitutional. This is the P.O.C. It is currently, that was the tool that the entity tried to use to steal from me and also secretly what is defame me and kidnap me and ultimately murder me. This is the same entity that's engaged in repeated attempted murder. And they're gang stalking right in front of my face. That's why they're going to prison. This is the P.O.C. It is currently 8:14 a.m. That's the mentally ill. That was United Airlines and Southwest Airlines stalking with the people of the state under the fake sun. They're all stalking. This is the P.O.C. Alrighty, this is the P.O.C. This is giving you the ongoing system, how it operates. You have the city that is engaged in what is activity creation, wasting resources, wasting money on what is a matter of public corruption for criminal surveillance at the same venue. Flying over my head by helicopter, flying over my head by the military using jets and planes. Under the fake sun is the same criminal activity as the entity is criminal summoning. This is the same public entity pacing with those that are stalking, referring to themselves as law enforcement when they are engaged in the pattern of conduct, surveillance. And that's what California Highway Patrol, the state of California under the corrupt leadership of Gavin Newsom, the entities engaged in this pattern of conduct under what is 6th Street and Euclid Avenue, where the military is targeting me via aerial surveillance, and California Highway Patrol is gang stalking. California Highway Patrol is engaged in what is light activity. These are demons, not just criminals engaged in surveillance. Understand what California Highway Patrol is speaking to you, what they are revealing about themselves while they're engaging in criminal activity, which is invalidating the whole corrupt purpose of the Baker Act. The entities engage in what is criminal defamation because the government of demons that is mentally ill engaging in surveilling you presupposes that were you to ever make an allegation about any of their psychotic behaviors, that you will automatically be written off. And this is how they procure things such as power of attorneys and conservatorship. Indeed, psychopathic, engaging in what is stalking you as a population. And California Highway Patrol at 1458 North Euclid Avenue, they are going to prison. Across the street, this is the same entity that's doing so under the fake sun and engaging in what is criminal summoning by California Highway Patrol to the prosecution of California Highway Patrol. That's the entity engaging in the pattern of conduct at Euclid Avenue, 6th Street. And on these, keeping the fake sun over Woodside Senior Apartments yesterday, where Amazon Prime is gang stalking. The entities engaged in this pattern of conduct at the same intersection where the fake sun is over me in the evening. And then you have California Highway Patrol exhibiting demon possession. This is speaking to what is public, engaging in what is the conspiracy to murder someone that they are keeping under surveillance in the readily identifiable environment and on the roads and the highways. All right, that's the P.O.C. California Highway Patrol has long been documented targeting me on the state highways, where they're engaged in surveillance, not law enforcement. And that in and of itself is psychotic. All right, this is the P.O.C. This is a state system as you're looking at how it operates. The U.S. military is gang stalking with the city police and with the state police. The entities engaging in this as a ceaseless, unified criminal act by one entity. License 9LNZ067, 9YHZ278, 85585 Yolanda 3, and it's criminal facilitation by California Highway Patrol that is being federally prosecuted for conspiring murder and gang stalking in furtherance of that murder that the people of the state, the entity itself, is committing while they're engaged in that. Remember, California Highway Patrol has defamed my character. California Highway Patrol has committed what is criminal defamation while stalking me and engaging in what is such mentally ill behavior that California Highway Patrol surmised that when I assert that California Highway Patrol is stalking me, that I would be kidnapped under the Baker Act, and that's why it is being invalidated. It is a means of the state that is gang stalking to commit criminal acts of defamation, theft, murder, and they're doing so through the malicious guise of what is not. It is not the practice of medicine, it is not the practice of law, and it is not law enforcement. That's the P.O.C., it's surveillance. And this is relevant to the videos that you will juxtapose this with. Stalking me by planes and helicopters at 1458 North Euclid Avenue under the fake sun. It is currently 8:54 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, first of all, pay attention to California Highway Patrol stalking me with the military that's above. This is what Amazon Prime, by the way. Amazon Prime did the exact same thing under the fake sun, where I'm already leaving the city of Ontario, so the sun and the natural environment's not going to be at Bethel Congregational Church, at F Street and Euclid. It's not going to be over me at what is Palm and F Street. It's not going to be over me at that 7-Eleven where Amazon's engaging in stalking, just like California Highway Patrol is engaging in stalking light activity. All right, and as I cross the street, the military that is targeting with California Highway Patrol engaged in a conspiracy to commit murder, not law enforcement. This is a stage, a crime scene where the people across the street, I took pictures of diversified landscaping that's stalking with light. And they're also engaged in monitoring with the maintenance of what is supposed to, how are you stalking? Because it has to appear as the execution of duties of officers. And that is directly by the specific environment, and you're going to prison. This is the conspiracy to commit murder while you're doing so with the people who have no legitimacy. They can stand next to Amazon Prime. They can stand next to the police. They can stand next to California Highway Patrol. They can stand next to a hospital, a doctor. They can stand next to a puppy dog. They're going to prison. They're gang stalking. This is the entity that's doing so. And by the way, facts in a case are always dealt with in this manner. It's not going to change based on your facial expression. Remember the dummies that are looking dumb outside of the fake church where they're engaged in surveilling me? and their facial expressions are supposed to be relevant. This is what they surmise. You're going to prison. License 1619138. That's criminal. It's light activity. Facilitation. California Highway Patrol is engaged in terrorism, not law enforcement. And Gavin Newsom, who was electing a terrorist leader over this department, is well aware of that. This is license plate. He's in the vehicle. He's monitoring while the military flew over the top of my... All right, he's engaged in terrorism. He's going to prison. And he's across the street documenting. And watch, pay attention to how the fake sun goes across the street. And remember, when I'm walking on this street in the evening, the fake sun's over me now. This is the prosecution of this department, not just this demon. License BW336, an impossible light while that demon operates that vehicle. Stalking in the path. This is at what is 106 address. You're sharing in criminal activity with the military that always tells on them they're idiots because they're gang stalking in plain sight. All right, that's the P.O.C. It is currently 9 a.m. The entity has a fake sun over me in an entirely different city. My evidence shows you're keeping it in Los Angeles where LAPD has this is already conviction. They're already convicted. You are learning and understanding how the demon possessed are monitoring you in the United States, and that's why you do not have any jurisdiction. You don't have any authority. The Baker Act is entirely illegitimate, where this entity thought that stalking me, you exposing your mental illness, was going to be projected onto me, and you assume that my evidence is going to be used to defame me. My evidence is going to diagnose you and have you committed and have you put in prison, have you removed from office, and have you prosecuted as a terrorist. This is the P.O.C. That's the prosecution of the entire department, not just that demon. He is going to prison. This is P.O.C. It is currently 9 a.m. 9 HAW 548 is stalking me and does so with the U.S. government that engages in this with the Ontario police. Ontario police are prosecuted by this. That's an afterthought. They're illegitimate. Those are stalkers, local stalkers. P.O.C. Alrighty, the California Highway Patrol that is gang stalking at 6th Street, he is going to prison. He's gang stalking with the military that's flying over my head. You need to understand Amazon Prime is engaging in the same pattern of conduct. That's the corporate entity, as I have organized this crime and has hereby provided notice to all of the entity that is being documented for federally prosecuting you for trying to kidnap me, defame, and steal from me under the Baker Act, which shall be repealed, while the U.S. government's engaging in criminal activity and exercising fictitious authority under illegitimate and unconstitutional legislation, which is the Baker Act. This is the P.O.C. Son, 7 MAB 676, federal prison. And this is the same location where I'm at, where the entity that knows it is being documented, they're all going to prison. This is who I was referring to in the video, where the entity did the exact same thing in the evening after 6 p.m. All right, and I will attach that video. That's the mentally ill, that ego that's embarrassed. And guess what? Your embarrassment, your ego, in other words, your mental illness that you can't control, because this is a court case, you're going to prison for what is being documented. This is conspiracy to murder. That's the government that's with the population, and you can't control, including helicopter activity in this video, proving that they're all stalking because you're embarrassed because you lost years ago, by the way. The LAPD is serving to prosecute the military, the city of Ontario, in San Bernardino County, the state of California, including Highway Patrol. At Vantage Property, they are gang stalking. The fake sun is over me just like it is in the evening. And this is the third parties that I was referring to. And Diversified Landscaping has shown itself to be engaged in what is, with impunity, targeting me in furtherance of murder and psychological torture. And for that, that company, that corporate entity is being prosecuted. And this is giving you perspective about what I documented yesterday after this time when I'm in Ontario, and I'm in Upland, California right now at 7th Street between 1544 North Euclid Avenue and what is the intersection of 7th Street and Euclid at the 10, where the entities engage in this, what is, let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 8 hours later. Well, CAL FIRE is stalking. They know that they're already prosecuted. That's why. The entity is gang stalking me. CAL FIRE is admitting to guilt regarding gang stalking me at the Holiday Inn in Hesperia, California. This is the entity, and this is the mentally ill that tell you what they are guilty of. That's how Satan operates. They're mentally ill. Satan tells you what they are guilty of. Their consciousness is speaking to what is an admission, as I document it, and it's speaking to confirming what it already is that I unilaterally established, because I don't need Satan to help me. I don't need the gang stalkers to assist me. But because they are mentally ill and they worship me, that's what you're looking at. That's why they're so foolish. And it is the necessity of involuntary commitments, by the way. This is P.O.C. Don't forget, Omnitrans is gang stalking in that video. They know that. This light activity under the fake sun, not a legitimate business on the roads and the highways. This is the P.O.C. It's 9:11 a.m. And this is juxtaposed with the video that's happening after 6 p.m. at the same exact address, prosecuting the entire city, including those in relevant position. The facilitating video of what is 7th Street in Euclid, Upland, California, into Ontario, at what is that intersection, 6th Street in Euclid, where California Highway Patrol is gang stalking, 1544 North Euclid Avenue. And this is the entity that's being prosecuted as a population. The entire freeway is keeping me under surveillance. You're going to prison. Under the Baker Act, you sat in a courtroom while I was being kidnapped, and you know that. The sheriff gang stalking, the police gang stalking, the court gang stalking, while you were lying in a courtroom under corrupt means of this system, the Baker Act, and you are going to prison. You who admitted to reviewing me and have an opinion, defaming my character so that you could steal my money and my wealth and my identity. And you listen to Tracy Banks, you're going to prison right along with her. This is the P.O.C. It is currently 9:12 a.m. in Upland, California, where the population, who are the people that say are going to be subject to martial law. This is how they levy war, and it's speaking to illegitimate legislation as well, which is the Baker Act, P.O.C. All right, stalking with impossible light. This is a demon. He's mentally ill and he's targeting with the military that just flew by, convicting him. 90 Sam 871, a sexual assault and battery by a terrorist that's on the roads and the highways with a whole other group. This is a sex act committed by the population that has failed in gang stalking under the Baker Act. 8YAH197. That's a sex offender of the female gender. These are demons. These are creatures. And the fake sun is over me at 396 North Euclid Avenue, where that sexual assault and battery going. And they're doing so with the demons that are psychopathic pacing, the mentally ill that are stalking on the roads and the highways unsun. This is P.O.C. That sex offense committed by any one of them is committed by the entire entity, and I will prosecute. That's how the law is operating, with a conspiracy to commit murder while the military is stalking into the jurisdiction of what is now Upland, California, which you are looking at and witnessing is the same exact entity, P.O.C. It is currently 9:14 a.m. License SALLARY, serial stalker at 314 North Euclid in Upland, California, is engaged in criminal summoning. You'll see AMR in the images as I am approaching 314 North Euclid Avenue, one who is engaged in gang stalking as an entity. That's not the only demon that's stalking me and furtherance of murder and criminal defamation as a population. He's doing so as I am documenting him serially engaging in that, including with the military that stalked me by helicopter, just like they did this morning, feet away from his home. He's engaged in criminal summoning with AMR, and he's doing so by stalking in the path and crossing path under this fake sun that is present over me at the same location, Olive Street and Euclid Avenue, where Amazon is also gang stalking. 8BZX755 is the same entity that is maintaining the corporate entities' criminal pattern of conduct, the public entities' criminal pattern of conduct of what is federal group stalking monitoring, gang stalking. Metrolink is engaging in that while you hear the train at 9:19 a.m. It is Monday morning, by the way, and Metrolink is engaged in ongoing facilitation. That's Los Angeles County, Southern California Rail Authority. They don't have any authority, and they're illegitimate while they are engaged in criminal surveillance, and that's a prosecution for Metrolink, who's engaged in facilitation for gang stalkers such as, let me just remind you, at 314 North Euclid Avenue, and this is going to be juxtaposed with the plethora of video documentation and images of the people of the state at this third-party facilitating venue, 314 North Euclid Avenue, where the fake sun moves as I move, and I'm still in Ontario yesterday. All right, this is surefire documentation of targeting, and the government that's wasting money on criminal activity and then is engaging in what is seeking to defame and kidnap and murder the one that they have already lied and said that was dead. That's what the people of the state, the government has already done. I'm already dead. They've already cashed in insurance policies, but yet the people of the state at 314 North Euclid Avenue and up in California are targeting me out of specific knowledge of who I am, and doing so with impunity, more so as they're being documented, which the demon-possessed do. These are terrorists, and these are murderers, serial killers, and thieves, and they've been incentivized to do so for profit, and that's why Bill Velto is being federally prosecuted. That's why the U.S. military is being prosecuted as engaging in treason. The people of the state are being federally prosecuted as terrorists, and they are going to prison. License SALNLAR. They're going to federal prison, everybody in this household. And that is speaking to the facilitating venue of all the people of the state who are also subject to prison, while any idiot in the neighborhood engages in this overt engagement in the P.O.C. They're engaged in criminal summoning, and that camera is a means of surveillance. Just so that it's not private property, none of it's private speech, and they're engaging that with the people who have impossible light crossing my path while they are all gang stalking in their homes. And this is putting them on the map, and everyone is witnessing the criminal activity who are the people of the state of California. All right, this is the prosecution of a governor that's engaging in the pattern of conduct. This is a prosecution of all of what is criminal surveillance by gang stalkers that are not engaged in law enforcement throughout the state of California. This is P.O.C. This is the mentally ill that are going to be subject to martial law and involuntary commitments. The images are showing AMR gang stalking at this intersection. They have their lights and sirens on. They make a U-turn. They're engaging in facilitation while this demon's lying in wait in order to engage in what is psychological torture, while the people of the state engage in what is providing ongoing evidence against themselves, but they call it retaliation. They're mentally ill, and that's why. They have not been designed to, the demon-possessed are not designed to engage in any sort of strategic means of gang stalking. You're supposed to be dead. So when that doesn't happen, you have a body of evidence literally providing a study to the demon-possessed that are monitoring. P.O.C. You're going to prison. It provides a body of evidence as to why you're going to prison. And anyone engaging in what you have committed as an entity is going to prison. This is P.O.C. It is currently 9:22 a.m. That federal prosecution for the people of the state, that's criminal summoning. And this is at the intersection of Olive Street and Euclid Avenue, which is a facilitating venue. Okay? This is the P.O.C. 9:22 a.m. This is criminal summoning by the group of gang stalkers I just documented at the UPLAND Civic Center, including serial stalkers who are already going to prison. Just captured all their license plates, and the fake sun is over me at the UPLAND Civic Center, where it is remaining in Ontario yesterday at the same time, over me. This is the gang stalking system, and this is the entity that is under no circumstances doing anything other than maliciously defaming an American citizen that they have conspired to murder by levying war, i.e. gang stalking. And the entities engaging in that where there are no emergencies where that entity is gang stalking, as the city of Upland, the city of Ontario are. It is criminal monitoring with the people of the state, including license 9YAH503, who was captured stalking in the path in concert with the city of Upland, the city of Ontario. Remember, the entity that's gang stalking by maintaining psychopathic pacing for over 20 minutes by helicopter. This is that same entity that does not have any emergencies. The use of the sirens is audible activity under that fake sun is over my head right now at 9:50 a.m. Whereas yesterday, Amazon is gang stalking, as I capture on video, engaging in the same criminal conduct that you see California Highway Patrol is, stalking in the path with a method of light activity, while the military is engaging in what is stalking by flying over my head, which is psychologically torturous and criminal stalking pursuant to monitoring. And this is the military doing so with the cities, the states that are engaging in surveillance, not law enforcement, not emergency medical services, okay? These are demons that are engaging in that in concert with the demon-possessed population, the people of the state who are engaged in levying war and furtherance of murder. And they do so not as strangers to anyone, but as co-conspirators of murder, including 9XXY798. The military is stalking with this third party. It's a basis of federal prison. As I document all of the license plates in this parking lot, the entity engages in criminal summoning, again for the second time in Upland, California. 9AGZ443, stalking in the path under the fake sun in Upland, California. And the evidence against him includes what is science, speaking to his malicious engagement in stalking someone that he has conspired to murder with the military, which is an act of war for which he's being federally prosecuted as a terrorist, and he represents an entity, including those that are serial stalkers like the African American with the big head. He's got on all black today, gang stalking with communication device out in Upland, California, where he is inside of the Upland Public Library in the evening, and the fake sun is still over me inside of that building. That is evidence against 9AGZ443 as well. This is the P.O.C., what the U.S. military and the gang stalking government doing directly. Stalking by fire, police, ambulance, planes, and helicopters, in other words, is evidence against all the people of the state who do not stand a chance in the courtroom, where they are being prosecuted as a population, a mentally ill population, that engages in gang stalking in order to criminally defame you. This is what the government relies on in order to assert that you're mentally ill, while corrupt means of this system is referred to, for example, as the Baker Act, which shall be repealed. It is unconstitutionally vague, and it is also that which the government does not maintain a legitimate interest in, while it is, number one, maintaining surveillance, as the P.O.C. proves, but number two, targeting American citizens that it is criminally keeping under surveillance, and where you are capable of manipulating what are circumstances and characteristics based on, first of all, your criminal activity and that which is not even true. When you're lying about someone being mentally ill, that is speaking to the legitimacy of the entire act, the legitimacy of what you would like to speak to a mental illness, in fact, and based on that, based on their criminal activity, in other words, it is invalidating the entire legislative act, which is criminal. The states are using it in order to target American citizens, which the government keeps under surveillance in order to steal from people. And the government does it, quote unquote, legally by stating, oh, we are the government and we say you're crazy. We say you're a criminal. We say that you're going to be kept against your will inside of a facility that we will maintain. And they are engaging in the gang stalking. That's why you have the government stalking by helicopter and then maintaining the Baker Act in order to assert that you're mentally ill when you don't have evidence to prove that the government is in fact lying, defaming your character, and targeting you. Targeting is directly contrasted, directly rebutted, diametrically opposed to the existence of mental illness. That's also why the mental health professionals, the medical professionals, those that are maintaining this legislation, those that literally created it, it's for this criminal purpose. And that's why you are also witnessing what is the invalidation of the entire medical field. The state of California is engaged in what is criminal activity. You're not engaged in the practice of medicine when you're engaged in surveillance. And you're doing so with the ignoramuses who are the people of the state, who are now not only are they exposed, but they're engaging in it in the face of everyone that's watching it underway and informing them how they are being kept under surveillance in the states where they're at and across the globe. And for that, you are being federally prosecuted and diagnosed at the same time, because that's a whole other level of mental illness where you are mentally ill in the first place, engaging in it under any circumstances in any way, fashion, or form. And it is a government system. This is the P.O.C. Upland, California, engaging criminal summoning. It's an act of terrorism while they're facilitating it. And yesterday, Amazon Prime, that driver, he's engaging in the pattern of conduct with the government that flies over my head, kept a fake sun over me while I am in the city of Ontario. They're stalking by helicopter at the Ovid Family Community Library the night before last night. They're gang stalking me the next morning. Fake sun is remaining in Ontario, California, covering it up. And then I show you that it's still there. Moreover, I will show you where it's shining, where the demons get confident as I walk into a building. They're idiots. They are idiots, and that the stupidity is based on mental illness because they're creatures. And these creatures thought that they could steal from humans that are literally superior to them based on your advanced state, based on your giftedness, based on your knowledge of who they are, and the ability not to just know, but the ability to prove that they are demons, they are creatures. That is, when you're prosecuting creatures in the physical, in the court with tangible evidence, you're referring to what is the behavioral health concerns behind creatures that are gang stalking, okay? This is the purpose of a population stalking and monitoring you, and it is proven through the unintelligent and discombobulated system of gang stalking, where the demons are so mentally ill, they're so obsessed, they're so delusional that they're now doing it all in front of you. And they are literally roaches that get right in front of my camera, and that is for your benefit, because they're all being prosecuted. They're all being prosecuted. The fake sun is over the Upland Public Library. The employees are already going to prison. This is already handled. All right, the population is being prosecuted. It's currently 9:55 a.m. where the fake sun's over 450 North Euclid Avenue. This is a prosecution of the mayor, prosecution of the city police that are not engaged in policing. They're not engaged in law enforcement. They sound sirens, and it's a criminal act facilitating criminal activity as well. And that's a prosecution for domestic terrorism, which is directly speaking to the repeal of the Baker Act. All right, it is currently 9:55 a.m. This is P.O.C. That's stalking with activity. The moment that I start recording, in other words. Everybody's under the phenomenon. The sun's over Woodside Senior Apartments. It's over 7-Eleven at 6th Street and Euclid. It's over me at Palm and F Street, over Amazon that's making a delivery under that fake sun, over the military flying over the top of my head, and over the Bethel congregation. That's the sequence of events yesterday, and they're all under that phenomenon inside of the Upland Public Library, where the military flies over as they open the doors and the demons pace in and out of the entrance. This is P.O.C. Adam Tuckerman's taking the lead today. He's going to prison. It's P.O.C. Good morning, Mr. Tuckerman.
Good morning, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Can I get a laptop from you?
Sure.
Okay. Let me give you my ID. Okay.
How was your weekend?
Excellent, thank you. How was yours?
It wasn't excellent, but it was good.
Well, exactly, it was
Can't
productive.
compete.
So, yeah. Yeah, I always have a good day, and especially when you wake up. So that's a good day, right?
I was gonna say, it's probably the best way to start it.
Better than others that didn't wake up, right? Yeah. Perspective. Thank you. Oh, do you guys have any disinfectant wipes? Do you have one? Oh, she's got them.
Yes, we do.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Alrighty, that's it. Thank you. Have a good day.
No problem. Did you
Oh, but yeah.
And if you need it or want it,
Oh,
There it
thanks. Yeah, I never get those.
a collectible due date slip.
You guys are all professional. I like your corner, brother. I like it. Okey-dokey. Okay, all the serial stalkers are monitoring with Adam Tuckerman. All right, the Caucasian male that has a disdain for looking up while he's being documented as a stalker. The African American with the large head. The
old white male that likes to sit and gang stalk ceremonially, traditionally at the desktop computers. All right, this is a traditional means of gang stalking with the Upland Public Library. They're all surrounding while the entity is engaging in that, and Adam Tuckerman is engaging in that while the military is benefiting from his criminal activity by being an employee, maintaining surveillance in that city where surveillance is underway by any and all means. Everyone that is employed in the city of Upland, anyone that has a job is engaged in surveillance. In other words, anyone that is residing in the city of Upland is engaging in gang stalking, criminal surveillance. Anyone that is traveling through the city of Upland is engaging in criminal surveillance. And the entity is surrounded with the evidence of that, speaking to the impossibility that the sun would be over me in this manner and also over my head at the side entrance door of Bethel Congregation, which I documented yesterday morning. It's 10:07 a.m. That's not going to be the case, and it's not happening simultaneously. That would require more than one sun. This is the environment where the ND is cheerfully checking out a laptop to me while gang stalking and further into murder. That's psychopathic, not normal. There is no facial expression or any sequence of events or any way in which you are gang stalking that's going to be evidence proving that you're anything other than a vagina monitoring psychopath. Conspiring murder as an entity, a corrupt population, a mentally ill one, a demon possessed one that's engaged in what is exhibiting their obsession, even in silence, okay? And their obsession with those who they are monitoring as demons. All right, it is currently 10:08 a.m. The entity, including Adam Tuckerman, is actually monitoring on the video of the internet as I'm uploading all the evidence that I captured in images onto the Google Drive, and I'll go ahead and take a picture of that right now. It's relevant evidence to prosecute him and all of the entity. While the fake sun is over me, which I captured already upon my entrance, and everybody that's standing around, everybody's standing around talking to the librarians and standing around entering, exiting the bathroom, slamming doors, which is audible activity, and it's mentally ill. You're a creature. As I operate my device, as I make a physical movement, as I look to the left, as I stand up, as I sit down, as my vagina is exposed, you're stalking somebody with noise, monitoring their physical movement and their genitalia and their device. It's beyond the language of the federal stalking statute. It's beyond that. And this is speaking to advocating the language being updated with regard to the totality of the criminal act committed by the public entity that's engaging in federal stalking as a population and as a corrupt government body. Alrighty, this is the P.O.C. It is currently 10:09 a.m. where the mentally ill are the ones that are gang stalking. The mentally ill that shall, under no circumstances, utilize the Baker Act in order to criminally defame and steal from and engage in any malicious murder of the targeted individual, which is the purpose of gang stalking. The purpose of the Baker Act in and of itself, which you know as you read that legislation, it is led by those in the medical field that are engaged in criminal monitoring, those in the legal profession, and obviously the legislature that's creating these laws that are facilitating the pattern of conduct. This is not ignorantly underway. It's a system that's being exposed and thereby prosecuted. It is P.O.C. And this is an entity that's engaged in what is gang stalking the person that you could never speak truthfully, and you had to engage in this secretly, which is what the facts show. The entity is being engaged in defaming my character behind my back. You have homosexual women that are obsessed with me that I don't even know, that are lying about being me. That's speaking to a system. The fact that you're even able to do that, how are you even able to do that? You're able to pick someone in a population, steal their identity, and then all of the government is aiding in that pattern of conduct. And I hope you know you're going to prison, even though you're not even fully aware and comprehending everything that I'm describing about you. Just know that it's ending and you're being committed. That's what you need to know. This is the P.O.C. It's 10:10 a.m. All right, this is relevant with regard to sentencing because all the employees at Upland Public Library are going to prison, and they are one facet regarding the pool of defendants who are serving time in federal prison for gang stalking and conspiring by murder with the U.S. military. So Adam Tuckerman and the people of the state are inside of the library stalking under the fake sun mentally ill demons who are engaged in criminal monitoring and the futile, albeit criminal, effort of trying to block the ability to publish it onto the podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and include in the evidence. This is why they're all going to prison. This is the criminal activity of going to the city library. And literacy is the last thing on their minds. It's actually vagina that they're monitoring in the bathroom and pacing all around, and they bring their
demon-possessed children who are screaming and pacing around. These are creatures. They're all engaging in, this is criminal activity and lawlessness in the library. But nonetheless, I'm going to document that because it's going on the internet. It always does. But I'm going to prosecute you for engaging in what is an unlawful threat while you think the government thinks and behaves as though it's going to stop you from prosecuting it, from investigating it, from documenting it. Like you're going to just silently stand there while you're trying to kill some. These are the mentally ill that are gang stalking. And so the patrons are serving, serial stalkers are here. They're already identified. They're going to prison. The employees are going to prison. The gang stalkers are literally sitting in the crime scene. You see where I'm at the corner. I captured video the day before last of the engineer light that was just manifesting while Carissa was gang stalking at the desk. This is Adam Tuckerman, the same entity, doing the same thing. Same impossible light activity is present. The clown is sitting right next to me. And these are demons that are monitoring on the internet. It's not funny, but this is an entity that is psychotic, and it's going on the internet. What do you think you're stalking? This is because they are in fact mentally ill. These are demons. So that determination, that ongoing persistence, it's because of mental illness, psychopathic. Meaning the demon possessed are creatures that are using a person. You don't see that creature, you just see that person. And you are also seeing their criminal activity. Now, when you're going to analyze a suspect like the federal government always does, and I'm providing you what is information, insight as to what is possessing, what is motivating, what is inspiring the behavior, okay, where the federal government perhaps may be ignorant about demons, okay, their mentally ill behavior, which you can assess through their pattern of conduct and their ongoing pattern of conduct in the face of all the world watching and eating popcorn, not mysteriously wondering what's going. Everybody knows what they're doing and what they're failing at doing successfully. This is an entity that's engaged in that. So it's Spotify on the video of the internet, surveillance on the internet, where the entity is engaging in that pattern of conduct with the futile purpose of stopping me from, you have thousands of podcast episodes, and I guess today's the day where they're going to stop that. These are demons that are going to be committed. All right, but it's criminal activity. It's federal stalking on the venue of the internet, which is committed in furtherance of murder while you're psychologically torturing, and you are a psychopath following me around as a population, which you think disguises the fact that you are a stalker. They're all stalkers. Okay, and that is shown through a specific environment. The entities engaged in this while they are monitoring the public libraries engaging in stalking, and they're stalking through the patrons that come inside to aid them in pacing all around me. And that's why the workforce at the Upland Public Library are going to be subject to mental examinations. Their mental illness and their criminal activity is both exposed while they're gang stalking at work. All right, it's P.O.C. It's 12:28 p.m. This is just relevant context, because like I said, they're already convicted, and since you engage in these things, I'm going to document it, and it's going against you. You're going to pay me. You're going to sit in a cell. You're going to sit in a cell even longer because of the government's penalties, which you will suffer, while you have been prosecuted and exposed for levying war, as though you are behaving in a manner such that you're suggesting that you're going to do that in the face of an American citizen, in the face of the American public, in the face of the government that is going to respond to your act of war against any American citizen. For you to behave in a manner as though that's going to happen, you're being diagnosed for that. You're being prosecuted for it. It's absurd, but this is the entity that engages. And remember, they're doing this to American citizens that don't have evidence, that can't advocate for themselves, that are overwhelmed with psychological torture and stalking and being kidnapped, being violated, being falsely accused, being battered, et cetera, et cetera. And that in and of itself is stopping them from speaking in any intelligent manner. And it's not because they're stupid or they're ignorant or they're incapable. It's because this is designed to inundate you with terrorism, which is attacking your mind. They are physically attacking your person, and they're also attacking you by kidnapping you and stealing from you and violating you in every area of your life. You're never even supposed to get to a place where, a plateau where you could address and prove, let alone through evidence, that you are being targeted in the way in which you necessarily need to. You have to have your ducks in a row in order to prosecute the government, because of the government, by virtue of its identity, is waiting for the opportunity to point its finger at you, and it not be questioned, because it's the government that says, oh, they're imagining things. We're not targeting. They're a criminal. And by the way, it's absurd that you would even suggest that we are targeting you. You're mentally ill. You're not just a criminal. You're mentally ill.
All right, we're going to keep you in this facility. And that's the government that's engaging in gang stalking. It is only successful when you, the world, the witnesses, who are a crucial aspect of this prosecution of the U.S. government, when you witnesses are both aware of what the United States government is doing and who the government is doing it with. And that's the people of the state who are in the shoes of the state. They're not private citizens. And it's only successful when it is occurring in secret, in the shadows. And that is what the P.O.C. shows, removes the ability to privately, secretly, in any covert manner, target anyone. And also it is only successful when you don't have any evidence to prove the allegations. And also relevant to, mental illness is absolutely relevant here, but it's not the mental illness that is suffered by any targeted individual. It's the mental illness of that entity that is gang stalking, which is mentally ill behavior by a group. And it's a tremendous group. It's the people of the state of California. It's the United States government, the U.S. military. It is the state, right? I am in California. So as I'm in California prosecuting it, it is prosecuting just as it's prosecuting the state of Florida, it's prosecuting the state of New York, it's prosecuting the state of, you name it, because there's only one son, and the demon-possessed are ignorant. They keep it over me. And so what is over you out in Mississippi? And that is exposing to the world what this entity failed in doing to me. But by its failure, it is providence, because it is speaking to the reality of Christ Jesus, who was alive and well. He's on the throne, and he's coming back, in judgment. Not only that, what he has said already is true, and it is a warning regarding his return, which is imminent. And this time he will not be coming on a donkey. He will not be laying down his life again a second time for the sins that he never committed. He's already done that, and it is a sacrifice that has already been made. And if you fail to accept that sacrifice, that is your decision, and there are consequences for that decision. You are benefiting from this in that this is speaking to the reality of the kingdom of darkness, Satan, who's a spirit, who is your enemy, who wants you to think that he's just fables and stories. No, he's real, and he uses people, and he is even deducible through the environment that defies nature. He is operating through a system that cannot contend with the Lord God himself, that cannot work with facts that don't change, that are not alternative, that are not changing based upon who is reciting those facts or who makes up those facts. Making up facts and period. That's the work of the enemy. That's the work of the corrupt. That's the work of It's the work of liars. But I just want to speak to that. Remember, you heard Adam Tuckerman on my podcast. You saw Adam Tuckerman. Adam Tuckerman is in the phenomenon. 24 hours ago, Amazon Prime is stalking a company. A corporation is stalking. That's what the U.S. government's engaged in. UPS is monitoring you. FedEx is monitoring you. The United States Postal Service, it's the federal government, it's monitoring you. Amazon Prime, you're a loyal customer to them, they're monitoring you. They're very much inclined to keep you and your privacy under surveillance. And not only that, not only are they monitoring you, they're very hostile to you enforcing your rights against them monitoring you and making money off of it. Demons are working for that company, and they're poorly paid demons as well. They're getting pennies, but they're out here employees of the entity, gang stalking. All right, they're slaves. All right, I'm prosecuting them. I don't care whether you're adequately compensated or not. These are demons with a slave mentality, and they are targeting as a corporate entity. The employees are demons. The company owners and all of Mr. Bezos. This is no, I'm not going to, there is no mystery here. You have all manner of a satanic attack and criminal activity, and Bezos is a demon, and this is a demonic company. It's a corrupt company. It's engaging in the pattern of conduct with the U.S. military. In other words, the U.S. government is operating and engaging in that which the government is not capable of engaging in constitutionally. And so you have corporations such as Amazon Prime, who are the government, operating under a malicious guise of being a private company that's able to do what the government cannot overtly do. Okay, which is keep you under surveillance at your home by delivering packages, by engaging in what is present in the past, tracking your steps, overt stalking, like what I'm showing you Amazon Prime is doing. And while Amazon Prime is engaging in that, Amazon Prime is the state. Okay, the entity is stalking right now by helicopter, and the entity is engaging in what is self-destructive behavior. Adam Tuckerman is a suicidal psychopath. All right, he's putting himself in federal prison. And these are demons whose psychological breakdown is documented while they engage in targeting the person that they never should have targeted in the first place. And they thought that it was going to be me that had some sort of psychological breakdown that they were going to catch on video and then play it in court, a court where it was maintaining criminal activity, and that was supposedly make legitimate that entire criminal act, and it's not. None of that is happening. Moreover, you're witnessing the demons who are having a psychological breakdown, such as Adam Tuckerman going to federal prison while I'm being gang stalked by helicopters where he works. He's going to prison. And he has the convenience of listening to his sentencing on my podcast that he's keeping under surveillance. And this is what you get when you're monitoring my vagina. You are absolutely going to prison. The entities engaging in this, and that's helicopter activity at 12:36 p.m. pursuant to criminal surveillance with the intent to obstruct justice. And because Adam Tuckerman is a psychopath and is, in other words, a deficient creature with severe mental instability, he is unable to appreciate the fact that someone that is federally prosecuting like myself is not going to stop documenting when you include helicopter activity in that criminal act. In fact, it's speaking to your conspiracy to murder me with that government that is targeting me where they know that I'm at, which is at your workplace under the fake sun. And it's not a coincidence that's happening while I'm speaking to criminal activity that is shared by corporate entities like Amazon Prime. Okay? Amazon Prime is a terrorist. Amazon Prime despises you and your so-called privacy under the Constitution. It's a joke. It's a joke to you. And while I refer to Mr. Bezos, understand that helicopter activity, that's not a coincidence. None of these are coincidences. You are listening to the pattern of conduct. These are demons who are millionaires and billionaires, and they've got it off of the backs of American citizens that they have sacrificed, that they've stolen from, that they've defamed, that they've kidnapped under criminal acts that the government commits by creating what is unconstitutional legislative acts such as the Baker Act. Okay? The entities engaged in this, and corporations that are stalking, is not a matter of anyone's imagination. You're certainly not hallucinating. I'm showing Amazon Prime is a very serious psychopathic stalker. Stalkers and sex offenders and terrorists are not merely persons. They are persons under the law with reference to the legal fiction that is a logo. The logo itself, Amazon, is a stalker, as they utilize that legal fiction to make money, to identify itself on paper with regard to being a person. That person is a stalker as well. That person is a terrorist. That person is a co-conspirator of murder. And its employees and company owners and establishments confirm that. It's a matter of tangible evidence, including while I'm being gang stalked under the fake sun by the military, with the city police, with the state police, and the people of the state in that specific environment. And Amazon Prime is right there in the center of it. Not coincidentally, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Alrighty, this is the P.O.C. This is the government that is lacking any plan. Adam Tuckerman is fully surrounded by evidence, and he is admittedly engaging in criminal monitoring and further into murdering someone, and he is not actually any sort of library director. He's engaged in criminal surveillance, and for that malicious iteration of the pattern of conduct, he is going to federal prison, and that is mandated. Alrighty, this is the venue that engaged in kidnapping also, the Upland Police Department, on more than one occasion, and for that department is being disbanded while the entity is stalking me by helicopter inside of this venue under the fake sun that remained in Ontario, California yesterday, not in Upland at all. This is the P.O.C. The entity that is engaging in this pattern of conduct, like I was stating, is the one that is showing how unstable it is and is engaged in an ongoing perpetual psychological breakdown on camera and via this podcast. And this is the entity that thought that they were going to document me doing that. Remember, anything, and not document me, that they were going to stalk me and then present their acts of stalking in a courtroom that didn't ask any questions, because that courtroom's engaged in the pattern of conduct as well. But nonetheless, this is an entity that's engaging in the exact opposite. The exact opposite. Alrighty, this is that pattern of conduct that is speaking to martial law. It's speaking to what is involuntary commitments of those like COLLIN SHEEHY. This is someone that's subject to what are severe mental examinations for his serious medical condition that is documented as a matter of evidence, the pattern of conduct that San Bernardino County Fire are engaged in. The mentally ill behavior of stalking with noise and stalking with light and hopping in big, expensive, shiny fire trucks just to stalk and monitor one person. Monitoring, when you're breaking that down, it's deranged behavior. And COLLIN SHEEHY suffers from that. And it is one that necessitates medical attention for the protection of everybody else. Okay, the entities engaging in this, and they're doing so while Adam Tuckerman inside of the library. And to prosecute Adam Tuckerman is to prosecute every other person that works here. It is a pattern of conduct, and it is speaking to that Adam Tuckerman is doing it. Every other employee is doing it. Okay, from Kiki to Alan to Alyssa, Carissa, they're all in the engineer light, the fake sun. And then you think that my podcast for today, July 27, 2026, is what you need to be worried about? You're going to prison. You're going to prison with lesbians who marry people that I don't want anything to do with. But since you're able to throw a dart in the dark and pick me to target and then try to steal my identity, and a whole government engages in what is waging war against me on your behalf, so you can go around infecting people with HIV, living and presenting as an animal, and trying to defame my character, whoever you are irrelevant. But for purposes of this prosecution, you are the forefront for what is invalidating legislation that permits animals who are creatures to engage in surveillance throughout these United States, targeting American citizens that they want to assume the identity of. That's a product of surveillance. These corporations are the product of surveillance, and they're facilitating surveillance. And for that, this is speaking to a system in order to respond to those acts of war by a corrupt government. It's unfortunately the United States. And no governor and no mayor is ignorant of it. They're all being exposed together. You're not staying in office, just so that you know. It's P.O.C. It's 12:41 p.m. The entity is engaging in this futile conduct. The entity is stalking me by helicopter to and from the Upland Public Library. Adam Tuckerman, he never had a defense. He's going to prison. This is the P.O.C. It's 12:42 p.m. This is relevant to federal stalking on the venue of the internet. Okay, so this little he, she, thing, it that's sitting next to me is stalking and monitoring and blocking my everybody in here. All the bodies that are moving in the engineer light are affecting devices. This is one of the ways in which you are being monitored. The devices themselves, as you buy them from T-Mobile, from Verizon, all these communication devices that you are purchasing from Apple, all of them, they are keeping you under surveillance already. They are designed to engage in surveillance in the environment that you are also aware of. When you look up in the sky and you see the fake sun above you, this is an entity that is engaging in surveillance while they are present, engaging in activity creation with devices in that environment. Okay, also on the venue of the internet, in every area of life. Okay, it is the P.O.C. and it's a demonic system where demons are engaging in this, and these are demons that look like humans, like you and I. All right, and even if you cut them, they're going to bleed like you and I. Being a demon is a matter of what is spiritually possessing them, and you're being able to see that invisible feature is in their behavior and in their environment. The Bible says that you will know them, and you will know them by their deeds. Okay, so when you have a mother that is lying about her identity to her child in order to try to steal her identity, in order to try to steal from her, who is sexually obsessed with that child, that she is lying to about literally being her mother, when you are engaging in what is gang stalking your own so-called child, that's identifying a demon. That's what Tracy Banks is. Okay, this is the P.O.C. It's 12:43 p.m. All right, showing you Alan is gang stalking at the desk. That is stalking in the path. He's gang stalking on the inside of the library where the fake sun is in Upland, California, over me, where I'm positioned inside of the building at the Upland Public Library. Very specific ecological address even. And then you're getting to the duration of time. I took a picture of the fake sun over me while I am at the Upland Public Library on the sidewalk looking at this same corner where I'm seated on the inside during the 9 a.m. hour. It's 1:14 p.m. The entity is stalking by helicopter in concert with this psychopath, Alan, who is a demon. This is what's wrong with him mentally with regard to his mental illness while he's engaged in the criminal activity by virtue of systematic facilitation, which is mandating federal prison for Alan. Alan is gang stalking with the serial stalkers, who are the people of the state, and with those that are coming in, engaging what is merely taking shifts, engaging in what is stalking as a population that is unhinged. Okay, and that's relevant to the entity that is stalking again by helicopter. Doing so, you will see the screenshot of what it is the entity is monitoring. They're literally monitoring the video evidence that I am prepared to publish about Alan and the Upland Public Library on May 23rd, 2026, and a very damning screen recording comparing gang stalking at the Ovid Family Community Library and at the same time under a fake sun, which is requiring more than one sun, which is direct evidence to put Alan in a mental institution while he is conspiring by murder with the demons that are stalking by helicopter as I am editing this video to publish it. And that helicopter activity is relevant to surveillance, where you're so psychotic and you're merely mad and you're mad as a stalker. Okay, talk about the layers of illness there. But nonetheless, you're mad because you are caught engaging in criminal activity, which is also psychotic and sexually perverted. And as a result, what you decide to do with that rage about being caught engaging in gang stalking is to hop into a helicopter and stalk me in a conspicuous manner. I want you to know I'm angry. I want you to hear this helicopter activity because that's going to stop you from prosecuting me. That's going to keep Alan out of a mental institution. That's going to prove that he's not vagina monitoring. Yeah, that's it. That's the entity of demons. They're all in the Upland Public Library, serial stalkers, and the serial stalkers who are employed, who are all going to prison. And then you're talking about the domestic terrorists who are the people of the state. All they're doing is taking shifts stalking. And this is the whole purpose of what the entire state of California is doing. They do it while they maintain means of compensating employees of the state. In other words, while you work at Walmart, while you work at the city hall, while you work as a congresswoman for the state, while you work at the daycare, wherever you work, whatever there is no distinct industry. The entire state is monitoring. And this is shown through the specific environment. And the entities engaging in this while a bunch of employees are enraged. And their enraged conduct is going to have them screaming and spitting and smearing feces all over the walls, showing them as the mentally ill that they've been at the outset, gang stalking somebody else and then trying to project that mental illness on that person that they want to be. You want to be that person that you're gang stalking. These are all demons. This is the product of Satan. Satan's a spirit operating over a group of inferior people who are all demon possessed. And they hop into helicopters stalking me. That's literally worship. Okay? The way in which this entity is worshiping me is going to have them committed. And the demons that are stalking in helicopter are not remaining a mystery. They're going to produce their own identities. They will be identified as a matter of what is information while the United States government is prosecuting domestic terrorism. And they're going to be committed. Okay? But for now, the demons are speaking to Alan. Alan's gang stalking while that helicopter is underway. And Alan's going to prison. Okay? He's going to be limping around. If you've seen, he has a hard time walking around. He's already up there in age. He's going to have a hard time at this point in his life. He's going to prison. Alrighty? This is the entity doing so while he is being documented gang stalking while I publish evidence, which I'm going to continue publishing. And a sane and law-abiding citizen wouldn't have to worry about evidence being published on the internet. In fact, it would be disregarded, and there would be no need for helicopters and waging false allegations and stalking through the police. Who are showing that they're not police officers. They're showing that they're stalkers. But then these are tactics of guilty people. Because if it was just a whole bunch of gibberish of a crazy person, you would never mind it. You wouldn't be trying to steal it and act like it's yours, like it was your idea, right? And I've documented that ongoing conflict, that ongoing contradiction. On the one hand, in my face, you're defaming me as you're being documented. And then on the other, in front of others that are also going to testify against you, oh, you were claiming that my evidence is your evidence, that it's your idea. You claim it as yours? That's because you're psychotic. It's going to be used to diagnose you. Okay? But that's speaking to the demons who are gang stalking with a straight face and looking perplexed while they're documented and acting like nothing is happening and smiling, pushing strollers at 11 o'clock at night while an entity is stalking in helicopters for over 20 minutes. That's that population that's psychopathic. This is the P.O.C. I just want to document that because this is the entity that's accumulating years, and Alan is probably going to expire. He's not too... I'm just being honest. I'm not being mean. This is the reality. These are people that have reaped what are the consequences of what, and they're still engaging it. And then not only that, you're gang stalking with a whole bunch of demons who also don't have any self-control. So while you sit there sweating bullets, wishing that you weren't a part of it, you're still going to prison. How about that? You're still going to federal prison. This is the P.O.C. It's 1:19 p.m. Stalking by helicopter. Okay, you listened to Adam Tuckerman gang stalking me this morning at the start of his work shift, at least with the people of the state inside of the Upland Public Library. 10 a.m. Fake sun is over me. It is currently 2:07 p.m. And Adam Tuckerman, this is what gang stalking is. It's not the same person. It's a group of people that are serving the same criminal purpose. So it's not John that's following you around. It's John and Thomas and Michael and Samuel and David and Johnny and Johnny's mom, all of Johnny's mom's kids, while they maintain the same position and relevant in relevant position to you under what is a fake sun, while all those people maintain the same position all around you. Thus, Alyssa is at the reference desk at 2:07 p.m. under the fake sun that's over the same corner of the building that it was this morning during the 9 a.m. hour, while I stood on the sidewalk showing the fake sun over the Upland Public Library as I am in the city of Upland, whereas yesterday, 24 hours ago, the entity has a fake sun over me, and I'm prosecuting Amazon Prime that's gang stalking me on Palm and Laurel, off of F Street at Bethel Congregational Church, the entity that is engaging in this. And this is the entity that is stalking. Alyssa is stalking me with the military that's utilizing a helicopter with regard to Alyssa's mental illness, while she is a hostile terrorist that is hostile to what is already her conviction. And so you're talking about what is obstruction of justice and psychological torture and harassment. While she is already convicted as a gang stalker by virtue of my evidence. And for that, Alyssa is going to prison. And she's going to prison with her boss that was gang stalking at the same desk this morning, 4 hours ago, under the same fake sun that's over me. This is the P.O.C. And I did capture the fake sun for all of you that are curious about the environment where you're going to listen to this conversation regarding criminal activity. P.O.C.
Okay, sounds good. You're welcome. Have a good one. Bye. Hello.
Can you get another laptop, please? The battery's
I think, I don't know if they actually charged, but like an hour ago, all of them were dead. So let me see if I have one that's actually charged. Give me a second.
No problem. Oh, my neck. Oh, here we go. I need the, there we go. Looking straight up, that's why I said, oh, my neck. Fake sun is directly above the top of my head at the same reference desk where Adam Tuckerman is gang stalking me. And this is the director that's speaking to what is leadership in gang stalking at any corporate entity, at any facilitating venue where you are a terrorist leader. And that's what Adam Tuckerman is. This is the pattern of conduct, and those that are under a fake sun, like what I'm showing you, this phenomenon, not only over the same building, venue, under the law, it's a venue, it's a facilitating venue, but this is literally just the same building. The sun isn't going anywhere. It's staying here. These are demons. Okay. This is very much demonic activity. And demons under the age of majority are pacing in and out of what is the Brody room inside of this library where teenagers are gang stalking me. And in case you did not know, the demon-possessed sex offenders are under the age of majority in California. The demon-possessed give birth to demons who are sex offenders. They're genitalia monitoring predators. And that is a criminal act that is not addressed under existing laws. But there is a means of prosecuting the people of the state, such as Marty, who are gang stalking with minors. And she's going to prison for it. She is crossing path while she is under the fake sun in the workplace. It's currently 2:11 p.m.
It doesn't have full charge, but it has something, which is more than what the others can say.
Is it over 50%?
I think it's a little less than 50, but I don't have one that has more than that right now.
Okay. So they weren't charging this morning? Or?
They've been charging since this morning. They're just slow. Usually they charge over the weekend.
Well, I know usually in the morning they were telling me how, I guess, whatever, Brianna broke that down, something's wrong with the system or whatever, so they don't charge. Or they charge, but then they lose their charge because they're being plugged up too long or something like that. Yeah. But typically by this time, they have them charged already?
Yeah, they're being... I'm going to go back there and try to figure it out, but they're being a little...
Okay.
I think they just were not charged over the weekend.
You guys have any study rooms available?
Let me check.
Thank you, Bella.
You're welcome. Don't have a room.
No? Okay. Yeah, this is at 41%. That's the best you guys have? Okay.
I'll try to see if I can find one that has a little bit more.
Okay. Can I have a disinfectant wipe, please, also? Thank you. Thank you. Alrighty, the entity has a bunch of demons, a bunch of old dirty white men, and it's not because they're not dirty because they're white. They're dirty because they're vagina monitors that are well over the age of majority, and at this advanced age, they're gang stalking with nothing to do. This is why the elderly are going to be put in the mental facilities where they belong. They're going to prison. Many of them are also veterans that are gang stalking, and as I've already shown you, the military are nothing other than trained serial killers that are being embarrassed as I prosecute them, and I've never stepped foot in any training camp or academy to prosecute them and conducting a legitimate investigation. That which I'm able to do because the gang stalkers, the demon possessed, the malicious psychopaths that are maintaining a corrupt body of government to engage in surveillance, they don't actually deal with facts. They don't actually deal with reality. They create it. They manipulate it. And so that's why I am able to supersede what are illusions that the mentally ill who are in the military, who are in law enforcement, who make up a population of criminals who create what is that alternative universe where they are depicting one person that they are targeting as whatever it is that serves their purposes. But these are old dirty white men. One of them, I showed you the way that he is decorating himself. That's speaking to his mental illness. But even if he weren't wearing a large oversized gold hoop in his left ear, his mental illness is already established by the virtue of the fake sun. Okay, these are mentally ill creatures who are actually pacing, but they are again cloaking themselves as humans who don't want to be seen as creatures, and so they're walking around on two legs, up and down the stairs, appearing to be engaged in having a purpose in doing so, going somewhere, doing something, being excited while they're doing it, being paid to do it while they're at the venue. All they're doing is pacing. Okay, this is gang stalking at one venue, and this is also relevant. The entity is pathetic. They're computers that aren't quote unquote charged because I'm embarrassing them while I'm prosecuting them. That's what that's about. The entities engaging in, that's the reality. There's no failure in internet. There's no failure in communication devices. They are monitoring you on the internet. They're monitoring you through the communication devices. They're monitoring you through the use of the internet. All right, so the entities engaging in this while you are being prosecuted, it's not going to stop. I've been dealing with the mentally ill for a very long time who are at a level of delusion that is very disturbing. It's not affecting their penalties, but it is informative to you because you need to witness how delusional the mentally ill are and how they are always focused on the one who has more than given them a warning about you need to stop worrying about this person, because to continue to do so is your inevitable and humiliating demise. The entity that is delusional engages in that which is to their own demise. However, because they are very much perturbed by being told to do something. Remember, these are authority figures that are accustomed to getting away with criminal activity, accustomed to doing what they want. And it doesn't matter what you're accustomed to. It doesn't matter what you want or how you feel even. You're being prosecuted, and the entity is very much bothered by the fact of someone like myself that you're the only reason why you thought that you were getting away with targeting me is because you told yourself. That does not make it fact. It doesn't make it reality. You told yourself those demons that you bow down to under the fake moon in the dark woods where you're having sex with 13 people in a basketball amphitheater, and all the animals all that craziness that you're engaging in while you're summoning satanic spirits which are why you are out of your mind, while you're targeting someone that you should stay far away from. Because to target me is to expose yourself. And exposure is just the tip of the iceberg, because I'm going to prosecute you and I'm going to drag you. Okay, Satan has to be humiliated. Okay, Satan operates amongst what is secrecy and in the shadows, and Satan's not getting that convenience. I am humiliating and prosecuting, and this is an entity that calls itself engaging in what is some sort of witchcraft, and there's no magic behind, and you have no authority, nor you have never been magical. It's literally been a trap the entire time for you to gain a false sense of confidence, for you to work for me and provide a body of evidence that's going to be used to confirm the pattern of conduct that I've been documenting for years, for you to believe that you were getting away with something, for you to celebrate and provide more of a paper trail. All of it has been your subservience to my prosecutorial purposes the entire time, while you were doing so behind my back in some manner that you thought was, covert, even elite, powerful, effective, and under any circumstances successful. These are demons that are stalking under a fake sun, okay? The fact that I'm walking to the same reference desk and I'm showing you what Adam Tuckerman and what Alyssa are doing, you're talking about hours in between, why is the sun over the same building? This is a very straightforward prosecution regarding what is also identifying mental illness and the ability to invalidate what is legislation that is serving to facilitate this very system, okay? It is the P.O.C. and the entities engaging what is the pattern of conduct. And Alyssa, who you heard right now, and you can also see, and you also see the fake son. She's the one that is stalking me by helicopter, and she's going to be prosecuted for it. Okay, this is the pattern of conduct. It is currently 1:19 p.m. Excuse me, 2:19 p.m. Okay, it is 3:48 p.m. and I remain inside of the same venue. That is 450 North Euclid Avenue. That is the Upland Public Library, which is a reference to a state facilitating venue, as opposed to, for example, Starbucks, which is maliciously representing itself as private property, private business, engaging in what is actually the pattern of conduct, while a fake sun remains over what is a facilitating venue in that environment, which is the state acting as a corporate entity. And the Upland Public Library is an expression of the government itself. It's the city, it's the municipality, it's the government acting directly. And the distinction is that Starbucks is the government acting vicariously. It's the same public entity, and that is proven through the maintenance of the supernatural, which is what I'm documenting at this time, 3:49 p.m. I just captured images of the fake sun that's over the same address, over me, over the same corner where I am seated, situated inside of the library. And this is speaking to what Adam Tuckerman is doing at 10 o'clock in the morning, doing so with Alyssa, as I'm documenting that, during the 2 p.m. hour, I believe, and under the fake sun, and the fake sun that is now at 3:49 p.m. remaining over the same corner where it is positioned as I'm standing on the sidewalk outside of this same venue in the city of Ontario, whereas yesterday, remember, the entity kept the fake sun in Ontario, California. And not only that, it is remaining while I'm in another city over the same building in that city. This is the pattern of conduct that I documented at facilitating venues such as Starbucks that committed kidnapping pursuant to the pattern of conduct with regard to targeting, while they are engaging what is obstruction of justice, because they're being documented and engaging and targeting me under the Baker Act, which is what venues such as Starbucks in the city of Upland are sharing in, while the government is engaging what is seeking to establish a power of attorney conservatorship in order to steal my wealth, my identity, and also to retroactively, right? It's entirely corrupt, but this is the entity's plot, that it would retroactively make legitimate the lies that it has already told about my being dead, about my being a criminal, about my engaging in a reckless sexual lifestyle that has detrimentally affected other people. This is while another demon somewhere else that I don't know has stolen my identity and has engaged in what is criminal acts against other people, and the government that knows that, because the government is gang stalking. So the government knows that I don't have HIV, that I didn't go around having sex with any of them, nor any of the people of the state that are engaging in targeting me, infecting people. This is what an entity is doing while it is gang stalking me at Starbucks. And you know who I am while you're gang stalking at Starbucks. You're not a population of strangers. The fake sun ties that all together for you. The impossible light activity, the phenomenon, ties that all together for you. These are all demons that are unintelligent, while now facts in an organized system of what is evidence showing you a pattern of conduct that they share while they're engaging in what is demonic activity with regard to what is a government that is relying upon demonic activity to criminally defame an American citizen that can't even make sense of what it is that they're subject to. And that's by design, because it's supposed to result in what is you're being defamed by demons like Rosa, who is at the Upland Public Library gang stalking. Rosa's engaged in what is harassment and assault on March 2nd, 2026 at Ovid Family Community Library. Assault and harassment at the Ovid Family Community Library, that is gang stalking, did not address. And then on March 3rd, 2026, with C. Gerber, that is the stalkers of the Ontario Police Department, under the 10:04 a.m. fake sun that remained on March 3rd, 2026 in Ontario at the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library, with regard to what Rose is doing up in California under a fake sun after 3 p.m. She is stalking, and it is very specific with regard to me, as opposed to having any right or freedom of speech or coincidence. Moreover, being at the Upland Public Library under a fake sun and engaging in acts such as smelling like urine, being hostile because I'm documenting you, because I also make fun of you while I'm prosecuting you for gang stalking me when you targeted me. So who should feel guilty for laughing at you while you're conspiring my murder, and you feel the motivation at 4'2", smelling like the way that you smell, living like the way that you do, being the creature that you are, gang stalking me because the demons of the Ontario Police perhaps are gang stalking with you? Is that why you would engage in that? What she did on March 2nd, 2026, which the entity did not address. But I want to be clear, if I even utter a sentence, what is the entity doing? Making up information and arriving inside of the Open Family Community Library. You recollect that body of evidence. This is why Abigail's going to prison. Yeah, you recall that. This is why they're going to prison. I documented every iteration of criminal summoning while they made up information, but they made it up when they're actually committing violations against me, and it goes unaddressed. And then mysteriously, I am ejected from the venue. That Rosa, whose son is obsessed with me, okay, they are engaged in stalking inside of the Upland Public Library, and they are under the fake sun in Upland, California. And with regard to everything else I'm mentioning, this is a reference to what is the same government that is gang stalking vicariously, i.e. Starbucks, a third party, or 1444 North Euclid Avenue in Ontario, California, where you would assert that that's your private property. No, it's not. You're being prosecuted as a state actor engaging in state surveillance. And as opposed to the Upland Public Library, which is a function of the city, the municipality, the government, that is gang stalking, and it is an identical pattern of conduct. Okay, and that's why Anthony's under the fake sun at the reference desk, where Adam Tuckerman at 10 a.m., where Alyssa during the 2 p.m. hour, and now it is 3:54 p.m., and the fake sun is still over me at the same library. That is indeed the P.O.C. The entity is stalking. These are a bunch of demons that are mentally ill. And they're being diagnosed, and it is a reference to what is national security threat regarding those that are maintaining regimes, maintaining means of terrorism, and then maintaining the ongoing illusion that it's being investigated by the demons that are going under a police department name, or undergoing, I want to be clear, investigation by the demons that are in the federal government. Okay, the FBI, yes, they're gang stalking. They're engaged in criminal surveillance. The federal government is maintaining surveillance on the internet, where you publish all of your personal information voluntarily, aiding in them keeping you under surveillance. But I just want to be clear, those are demons that are leading you and influencing you to do that, while you are opening up your life and you're following and listening to and taking the lead for demons that have created that social media space, that open space for what is surveillance, where you are under surveillance on the venue of the internet. But nonetheless, this is speaking to the criminal activity that you're going to listen to right now. And by the way, all these are demons. I've already stated that. You already know this, but it goes without saying. Adam Tuckerman, Alyssa, Anthony, all these demons, they're all aware that they're being documented. And that's why when they engage in what is answering someone's question and crossing my path in doing so, that is stalking. While the entity sounds helicopter activity, while I publish images or download a file on my phone, and they're engaging what is crossing path at work under the fake sun, they're monitoring. And they're psychopaths that are going to be glued to, that is tethered to, stuck with the role that they play as a gang stalker and engaging in psychological torture in that malicious manner is going to have you committed. It is the evidence of severe mental instability that's a threat to the public, while the entity is gang stalking in an unfazed, stoic manner, while you are conspiring the murder of another person with the whole population. It's an unspoken act, and it's okay because I don't need you to say anything. The entity is doing so. I also want to be clear with the city of Ontario. A territorial demon is what Rosa represents, coming from Ontario, gang stalking in Upland. What you see is the fake sun. That's the city of Ontario. Ovid that's being prosecuted. That's the city of Upland Public Library that's being prosecuted, while they are both targeting me, while Rosa is engaging in that. This is the P.O.C. It is currently 3:56 p.m. The entity engaging in criminal summoning. Those are the mentally ill. COLLIN, SHEEHY, MARCELO, BLANCO. Daniel Muncie is the fire chief. COLLIN, SHEEHY is the demon-possessed so-called captain. He's not a captain. This is the evidence showing that a captain is not engaged in vagina monitoring and is not engaged in what is wasting resources, millions of dollars on pacing around in circles, sounding sirens and lights, wasting time, setting fires and then going to and put them out and then keeping a record of it like you have it. That's not firefighting. And since COLLIN SHEEHY has been documented engaging in criminal activity, that is a criminal expenditure of resources as well. He is losing his job. But this is the entity that's engaging in what is, and it's more than just losing your job. You're going down as a terrorist and I will prosecute you. But nonetheless, I'm just giving, generally speaking, that department is not remaining as any sort of fire department. This is proving surveillance. And everybody that's engaging in surveillance, you're not going to walk away from this and keep your job as a firefighter, as a police officer. It's not happening. But nonetheless, the demons are psychotic, sounding sirens again, monitoring under the fake sun that's over the Upland Public Library. And at 3:58 p.m., we're 6 hours in of the fake sun over the same building. And that's when you're counting when I walked into the building. All right, this is P.O.C. Hi, Mr. Hi, Mr. Allen. Can you help me? Can we get another laptop?
Oh, you need to get another one.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll need this computer to check
Oh,
it out.
okay. I'll wait.
How's everything else going for you? But we'll get you hooked up.
Fine. Are they charging? Because Alyssa was saying that they won't charge people.
Mondays are bad. How long ago was that?
It was like an hour and a half ago. So she gave me
Okay,
this
so
one.
hopefully they've gotten a little bit of juice in that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. All right, your weekend went well.
This one looks like
Okay, good.
Thank you.
So did mine. Just say no, I didn't do anything.
Oh, I'm not accusing you of that. Not at all.
Yeah.
How are
we
you
going
going
to?
Disneyland?
No, I'll be going to Atlanta next week.
Oh, so you went to New York and now you're going to Atlanta? You traveled a lot. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, do you go to LAX or do you go out of Ontario?
Ontario.
Really?
LAX is a nightmare. It's a drive.
Yeah, I would imagine that Ontario, tell me if I'm wrong or not, would be more expensive because it's not that busy of an airport, you know? A
No,
lot of
I
times
mean, that's correct. Although you don't have to pay to park your car there. I can get a friend to drive me to Ontario.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't have to pay for the gas to drive to LA and back. I don't have to pay for the overnight parking if I'm gone for 2
Are you going for like a long time or are you just going for the weekend?
Nah, I'll be back next week.
Oh, good for you.
I won't be here Monday, but other than that.
Good for you, Mr. Allen. You get to travel a lot. You get to go to Disneyland all the time.
Yeah, I try to live a good life. Okay.
All right, thank you. You're looking at images of my being surrounded at the reference desk area. This is psychotic behavior. They try to do it in a calm, collected manner without talking to you, without addressing you. This is surrounding you, making sure you're surrounded.
Okay.
I don't know if he's being helped right now.
Yeah, he's okay.
Okay.
saw the action. Alright, so this one is
Anthony, Ashley, and Alan. Yes. This is P.O.C. under the fake sun. It's 4:01 p.m. Yes, sir. Thank you.
it was $4.95 because it was 11 pages and 22, so 33 in total.
These are a bunch of demons coming into the library. Oh, can I use the printer? Can I check out a book? Can I use a computer? They're stalking, and it's pathetic. It's pathetic.
Yeah, just say I printed. I want to pay with card up there. Tell them it's on a print job account.
Okay, great. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, of course.
Hi.
Hi, sorry.
No problem.
Are you just returning your?
I would like to get another laptop.
Okay.
With the batteries. I'm dead on this one.
Thank you.
So as he walks by, impossible light activities on the floor. This is ceaseless and systematic monitoring, crossing path, going into the office to get a laptop, walking back out to give it to me. As I walk to get the fake sun, a demon is already behind me in line. Him talking to one that's in front of me is a means of pacing. This is the P.O.C. Did you already check the battery? Is it? Yeah, it's the thing. Okay. Can I get a wipe while you're back there, please? Thank you.
Sweet. There you go.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, this is the entity that's engaging in what is gang stalking by the reference line, the reference desk area, while a bunch of stalkers sitting around on their devices, just monitoring my every move and monitoring their ongoing prosecution on the internet. They're watching every video, they're listening to every word that's uttered, and they're also forced into silence with that as well. So, but at the same time, the entity is psychotic because they keep stalking and monitoring in the face of being prosecuted for it, okay? But it's very threatening what the demons are doing. So without talking and doing so in a what's supposed to be a calm and collected manner, the entity, but it's not calm and collected. The entity is stalking by helicopters, stalking by amplified plane, maintaining what is criminal summoning. The entity is engaging in what is psychopathic behavior. As I make any move, a demon is arriving in line, and this is actually what is their focus. This is why they are engaged in positioning in the library, where it's supposed to appear as, oh, I'm sitting here reading a book. They are in position all around to maintain any means of presence. If I make a move, a demon is immediately arriving. And how are you doing that? By getting in line to ask a question. Of Anthony, who was under the fake sun at 4 p.m. Alan talking to me in line is monitoring me, and he's engaging in the pattern of conduct. Ashley coming and helping Anthony. They're pacing together, monitoring, and they're doing so in concert with the patrons, who are a bunch. They're all gang stalking together. This is the P.O.C. In its relevant context, that Rosa from the Ovid Family Community Library of the City of Ontario is coming to Upland to engage in that pattern of conduct. And the people of the state that go out of their way targeting like that are going to federal prison even longer. Rosa is a serial stalker in Ontario, driving Benjamin's white van that has a license plate from Michigan. She is engaged in what is serial vagina monitoring, stalking me obsessively in Ontario, California, as I maintain that ongoing list of serial stalkers in Upland, California. And she's going to federal prison. Going out of your way to stalk somebody, that's the government. That is stalking in that manner. And it is not ambiguous, and it's not invisible and impossible to see, because it's amongst the population. You see how that population targets, and they're also psychopathic. The entity that is engaged in this is doing so, making sure that every move that you make is followed with activity, getting in line behind me, being in line in front of me, making sure that they do the same thing with regard to the bathroom. Any move that I make, they're engaging what is surveillance. Going in and out of the bathroom is crossing path while they're monitoring you and your genitalia. And then they sit around staring at their devices with which they're engaging in surveillance under a fake sun that's sitting over the same roof. And we are 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 6 hours in. All right, these are a bunch of demons. They're a bunch of creatures. These aren't humans engaging in that also. This is demonic activity. This is the P.O.C. Bill Velto is being prosecuted while I lay out this prosecution of the people of the state and the city of Upland. any venue that is associated with the government, which, by the way, is anyone. Anybody that lives in the city, anybody that's traveling in the city, anybody that is working for the government is documenting the mayor. Okay, this is the pattern of conduct. It's currently 4:06 p.m. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, the series of events are speaking to what is the sex offender, that is the public entity, and the sex offender that are the people of the state. These are also demons. In case you did not know, Satan is a pervert and is the engineer of everything perverted, everything that is twisted regarding sexuality. It came from Satan. And this is operating in a population of demons that are monitoring, and they are monitoring genitalia. They do things such as stalking you in bathrooms. And they are doing so conspicuously and inconspicuously. Conspicuous surveillance in a bathroom is a lesbian that is demon possessed, that's walking in the restroom, and you are a lesbian when you're monitoring another female's genitalia. You are equally a lesbian while you do so, trying to hide the fact using kids in your monitoring vagina. It doesn't change that. You're a lesbian. Nonetheless, the entity's walking in and out of the bathroom, and you are listening to the evidence of Anthony, who is engaged in vagina monitoring, Ashley, who's engaged in vagina monitoring, Alyssa, who's engaged in vagina monitoring, Alan, who's engaged in vagina monitoring, Adam Tuckerman, who's engaged in vagina monitoring, Marty, who's engaged in vagina monitoring. And what I took pictures of is this is a method of crossing path. This is the purpose of what demons are doing while they're monitoring you. So the pacing behavior, that is the significance of the fake sun, the purpose rather of the fake sun, the engineer light. It's supposed to create an illusion. That's the sun over you, the sun that you're never paying attention to, the sun that you never notice stays over you all day long, stays over you all day long while I'm in California pointing out and documenting it, which is letting you know what you're subject to and letting you know what surrounds you. But the entity is maintaining this environment while a bunch of psychopaths who are demon possessed are pacing back and forth all around you, monitoring you. And they do that pertaining to your vagina. And it is a ritual that they think has significance. It doesn't. These are demons that they are devoid of any spiritual power, authority. They're not magical. They're being diagnosed for mental illness, and they are going to mental facilities for being gross sex offenders as well, who are mentally ill, engaging in stalking in places like in bathrooms and maintaining surveillance in places like bathrooms, and that includes the military. The entities engaging in the P.O.C. and all the people of the state that you just heard gang stalking are doing so. So the images that I took regarding the tactic of the demons that are, their purpose is to pace around you, maintain presence all around you. And the pacing is shown and proven through the fact of a fake sun that doesn't move. They move while that fake sun does not move. They're just going all around you over and over and over again. They're pacing. They're monitoring you. And it's literally a ritual. And it's going to be the means to diagnose a bunch of sex offenders. Conspicuous surveillance, which is the perpetual sex offense, is underway while they're in the bathroom, while they're monitoring you in the bathroom. Inconspicuous is while they are outside of the bathroom, above the bathroom, and the adjacent rooms around the bathroom, where, in other words, you can't see them, but the entity is amplifying audible activity. There's engineer light in the bathroom. The fake sun is over the building, which encompasses the bathroom, while they are pacing all around outside of the bathroom. That is conspicuous surveillance, and it's also quote unquote inconspicuous because you don't see the stalker in the bathroom stall, which is a threat. A sexually violent and psychologically harmful threat. These are demons that are monitoring you. They're monitoring your genitalia. They are sex offenders. And they want you to think that they're just like you, having a right to be in the bathroom. And the government does not, and Satan does not. He's a stalker and he's a sex offender. And he's also engaging in what is giving birth to sex offenders that he sends in to monitor your genitalia. All right, so the entity's engaging in what is having zero toilet paper in the bathroom. What is the purpose of this? Not only because the people of the state are demons with very poor hygiene, they're engaging in what is focusing on me. You're stalking and maintaining surveillance in the bathroom, but yet you don't have any toilet paper for all the gang stalking lesbians that are monitoring in the bathroom. But the entity's purpose behind that is to, what are you doing when you're walking in looking for toilet paper? Well, you're not going to use that stall because there's no toilet paper. So you walk to the next one, you look, there's no toilet paper in that stall. So you walk to the next one and you're looking in the next stall, there's no toilet paper in that stall. So you go to the next one, and the very last stall, when you walk through the entirety of the bathroom, there's toilet paper. And what have you completed? While a stalker is in the male restroom, you're engaged in what is crossing path. And at the moment that I have that mental thought, a lesbian walks in. Okay, a demon-possessed one. The entity is engaging in this with the employees who are going to prison, and you're listening to that criminal act underway in real time. This is the entity that's engaging in what is surveillance with the employees of the city of Upland, intentionally engaging in what is not keeping the bathroom in a decent manner, in a hygienic manner, and also that which is keeping the bathrooms in a manner that you can't use while you're gang stalking. It's not going to change the fact that you're being prosecuted as a sex offender at all. Alrighty, the entity is engaging in that pattern of conduct while they are pacing in and out of the restroom. And at the moment that I document what I just spoke to, right, as I walked through and observed no toilet paper, I took pictures of it, they're monitoring, and a sex offender's in the male restroom, crossing path with me while I walk through the restroom, looking, which again, of course, you're gonna be looking for toilet paper. That's exactly why it doesn't have any toilet paper. And the demons are doing the same thing, walking in, this is a crime scene, and this is the entity that is pathetic. It's like leaving a shopping cart by the Elite Shipping inside of the Ontario Shopping Center. Okay, the Ontario Village Shopping Center. Stater Brothers is monitoring, so you leave a Stater Brothers shopping cart there, and then at the moment that I start downloading videos and start uploading, that's when a demon from Stater Brothers comes and gets that shopping cart in order to cross path and create activity while that fake sun is there in the morning. And then you have the evidence of the fake sun at that same Ontario Village Shopping Center at 5 p.m., and that's how you're proving that Stater Brothers is filled with what are demons that are monitoring you. That's maintaining a crime scene. That's lying in wait conduct for gang stalkers. Okay, they have the scene ready for you to be subject to that pattern of conduct, stalking you with activity. That's literally what the purpose of this is. So the entities engaged in that, you're going to prosecute. These are psychopaths that are engaging in these sort of pathetic tactics, but these are pathetic tactics like repeatedly sounding your sirens while it's being documented. Why are you knocking on the door? Why are you knocking on the door? Oh, hi. Oh, you saw no toilet paper? Thank you. Nice nails. While you are engaging in that sort of, there's no toilet paper. I can't even touch the door.
I don't have a key to put it inside, so it just has to be hanging out.
Okay. I just want to get a piece of paper because I don't like touching the door. But while you're engaging in those sophomoric tactics, it is the entity that's engaging in lying in wait conduct. That's what that is, all right? Including while coming in, refilling, all right? That's the P.O.C. Thank you very much, Miss Ashley. You must have read my mind. I was just thinking about that. Oh, you did. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Alrighty, that is the P.O.C. The entities engaging in that method of targeting, and they're doing so with regard to, that's harassment while you keep toilet paper outside of the bathroom, just so that you can engage in what is crossing path, because that's what's underway there. It is the pattern of conduct. The entities engaging in that while a whole bunch of demons fill the library, monitoring you. They're all together engaged in vagina monitoring, including Ashley that comes in, as it means at the moment that I go and use the bathroom, there's no toilet paper. That's when you're refilling the toilet paper rolls. Okay, this is the entity that's not noticing it until I document it. It's also under what is a 6-hour plus fake sun over the building. Okay, that is a tactic of a bunch of sex offenders that are monitoring inside of a library, stalking. Alrighty, this is also, all of this is not only criminal activity, but this is the absurdity of what they're engaging in. The Upland Public Library is going to be defunded. I'm showing you the worthlessness of everything that is engaging in the pattern of conduct. You don't need a library, you don't need a city hall, you don't need a police department, you don't need a fire department, you don't need any ambulance services. They're all engaging in what is keeping themselves employed and paid while they're maintaining surveillance. And it shows the worthlessness of everything that they are utilizing to engage in the P.O.C. Okay, this is the entity that's engaging in what is targeting me in my vagina, and that is the sort of tactic behind that. It is referred to as what I've shown you, all of the ongoing tactics of lying in wait, as opposed to, for example, where an entity is engaged in targeting and you don't have evidence of it, and the unfortunate assumption of those that are engaging in the pattern of conduct is to dispose of someone's inability to I would say articulate in an intelligent manner, but it's not because they lack intelligence, it's because the entity is so psychotic. So it's difficult and it's challenging to try to make intelligible that which is psychopathic and demonic. Okay, that is a specific type of skill. It's deranged and it's weird and crazy. So to try to make sense of that is no reflection of your intelligence. Okay, so this is why you have the average person that is supposed to look like you're somebody that is egocentric, you're hypersensitive, you just think that it's all about you, and you think everyone is concerned about you, you're paranoid, yada yada yada, everything that the entity would like to create as a reality. But I'm sorry, not sorry actually, because that is absurd in the face of the evidence. That is under no circumstances supported by the evidence. Not only is that not the case, the evidence directly proves that they are mentally ill while they are absolutely targeting. And you are disregarding the facts in order to speak that against someone who is in fact being targeted, and you do harm when you speak ignorantly like that. And the entity intends to do harm when they are engaging in what is seeking to blame the targeted individual for their mentally ill and criminal conduct, because that's the purpose behind that. It's referred to as gaslighting nowadays, but that's a reference in the vernacular. The entity is essentially targeting you and then seeks to blame you for that which you are subject to. So you committed suicide when the entity murdered you. The entity murdered you while they were gang stalking you the entire time, targeting you, and they defame your character, stating that you were mentally ill before you killed yourself. This is how the entity is seeking to blame you for what it has done to you. Okay, and the evidence of the P.O.C. shows that it is absurd and it is untenable with regard to the entity and all the ways in which it's targeting you. So this is getting to the practical ways in which they execute the pattern of conduct, and it is down to the pettiness, speaking to how worthless they are. You don't need to be paid as any librarian. They don't need a library. They don't need any of this. All it is surveillance. All of it is surveillance, and that's exactly what's going to happen. All right, so the entity's engaging in what is a practical means of gang stalking. You've got a vagina monitor in the male restroom. You've got a library full of vagina monitors on the second and first floor. You already know the vagina monitors are stalking in police, fire, and ambulance vehicles, pacing around the roads and the highways. The fake sun is at 6 hours over the same building. They're all pacing around in engineer light, and there's no toilet paper in the bathroom in order to accomplish crossing path. So the entity is maintaining that as a means of pacing, which is what the demons are doing. As you go into the restroom, the demons that are of the male gender are pacing in and out, stalking with amplified noise. As they flush the toilet, it's a loud boom. As they walk in and out and close the door, it's a loud boom. As they are maintaining what is the engineer light, you see this, the engineered light is loud as well, if you will. The upright staircase is flat on the floor within the shape of the window that's on the roof or the ceiling of the building. That's absolutely absurd and impossible light activity. It's as loud as the amplified audible activity. The entity's conduct is exaggerated. They're demons that are monitoring, and it's a whole illusion regarding their environment, and it's loud activity. It's impossible light activity. It's under a fake sun. It's amongst what is a poorly maintained venue. All of it centered on targeting. And that person is not hypersensitive. That person is not some egocentric person that thinks that everything is about them. No, the demon possessed have actually made it all about them. It's all about their genitalia. It's all about where they go, what they do as they do it. And like I said, inside of the bathroom, the moment that I am referring to or making note of the entity's tactic, immediately a demon enters inside of the bathroom, paces all around, walks out. And as I was recording this, you heard another demon do the exact same thing. Paces in, paces out. Then you hear an employee who was Ashley. And at that moment is when they're refilling the toilet paper, because I guess nobody else up until this point noticed it. They also don't notice the fake sun. They also don't notice the helicopter activity. Okay. But while the entity is maintaining that, you've heard them ask me, including Ashley, who was refilling the toilet paper in the bathroom stall, asked me to keep my volume down while you are stalking me with amplified helicopter activity. This is why you're going to prison. All right, this is the entity that is, all you have to do is pay attention, because you can very clearly see how imbalanced they are. All right, but that's the entity that's not accustomed to being analyzed. That's accustomed to overwhelming the ordinary target individual. And I completely understand, because the average person is going to be overwhelmed. They will be psychologically tortured and tormented to a degree that they can't sit up and analyze and document and keep track of that. And it's not designed for you to be able to withstand that. It's demonic. Satan is attacking you. Satan is attacking you through a population, and Satan is attacking you through the government. The government intends to take your life. The government intends to silence you. It's not happening here, and I'm dealing with a bunch of resistant, defiant demons who are nonetheless defeated. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean you're any less defeated. Not only are you defeated, everybody is watching that defeat. Okay, and it's not a movie. This is not Hunger Games. This is really your life, and it's over. All right, this is the P.O.C. It's 4:27 p.m.
All right, stalking at I Street and Euclid at the light with the entity. I took a picture that is the entity stalking by commercial planes. There's no flights at the First United Methodist Church. This license plate of this demon that's trying to turn and avoid being documented, license 58305 Larry 3. That's the entity that he's conspiring my murder, stalking me on the streets, on the roads and the highways with the military, and that's why the population is being subject to prison and martial law. The entity is doing so at what is 8:08 p.m., where no airline and none of the couriers like Amazon Prime, FedEx, UPS either are maintaining any flights from the airport, the Ontario International Airport, which is the only airport in Ontario, and none of the terminals are engaging in what is flights that are going to fly over Euclid Avenue and I Street, where the entity is gang stalking me, like I'm documenting in the morning at this same intersection, okay, where Dutton is gang stalking. It's an African American, 54839 George 3. Dutton is a commercial actor that's engaging in criminal surveillance and furtherance of murder. That business, that corporation, and the African American demon that's operating that vehicle, stalking in the path. It is currently 8:09 p.m. This is the entity that is engaged in the pattern of conduct. License 6 Robert Kelly 194, stalking on the roads and the highways in furtherance of murder. That's why they're stalking in their car. 07248 Uncle 2, stalking in their truck in furtherance of murder. P.O.C. This is P.O.C. This is stalking with light at nightfall. This is what you know American Inn is doing under the fake sun at 7 in the morning. What American Inn is doing under the fake sun at 5 and 6 in the evening with the people who are monitoring. And that's prosecution of a corporate entity. Whether they're living there, working there, around the venue, you're being prosecuted. You're being federally prosecuted, and it's in furtherance of murder. License plate, stalking with FedEx, 9 Apple Mary Apple 582. Remember the gang stalkers that are likely immigrants that are gang stalking over here. They like to stalk with the military by helicopter and planes. FedEx is over here engaging in what is stalking in the path, doing their demonic bidding in that pattern of conduct in furtherance of murder. FedEx is engaging in surveilling you. FedEx is operated by demons. This is the P.O.C. Iron Skillet this morning is gang stalking me under the fake sun. American and gang stalking me under the fake sun, where I'm documenting the entity United Airlines and Southwest Airlines. This is that pattern of conduct at nightfall. The daytime version of it is a fake sun. All right, this is indeed the P.O.C. These are demons that are tracking my steps. FedEx, license plate 25122 Paul 3, and their shadows move on the vehicle. Those are demons, okay? That's a sexual assault and battery. And the entities engaging in what is stalking in the path. That's impossible light activity, okay? Here's my shadow that's appearing. And that is, again, impossible light, while the light is speaking to what will be a shadow on the ground, not projected across the vehicle, where FedEx is engaging in surveillance. They're going to be committed. FedEx employees are going to be committed. That's impossible light. And see, I'm not behind that over there by that light. It has nothing to do with it. It's going in all manner of directions. This is facilitation. 26106 George 3. You need to understand that they're engaged in what is conspiring murder. FedEx is a corporation that's engaged in what is hiring demons that are stalking and monitoring it. And I want to be clear, the U.S. military, those homosexuals, are gang stalking in FedEx vehicles, Amazon Prime vehicles, United States Postal Service vehicles. It's the same entity. But the corporation itself is very much indeed engaging in that criminal activity. 26107 George 3. I'm going to prosecute FedEx. There is a body of evidence prosecuting, showing that FedEx has been targeting and conspiring my murder, and doing so with regard to the government's criminal use of the Baker Act. This is under no circumstances anything that's going to establish mental illness on the part of an American citizen that's being targeted by corporations such as FedEx. And I will prosecute, and FedEx, no matter how large it is, cannot pay its way out of a prosecution for terrorism. You will be removed from existence as you are a threat to society, which FedEx is stalking me by planes, stalking me on the roads and the highways, and engaging in criminal monitoring and facilitation of that. This is indeed the P.O.C. They're doing it in the specific environment, which I've already established, American Inn under the fake sun, morning and afternoon. And you're looking at how they're just stalking in the middle of the street. Well, in the engineer light, crossing path with me, surveillance by a corporation. And all they do is wear uniforms and hold on to props, which are the packages that they deliver to the gang stalkers, who are the people of the state. That's how you're engaging what is conspicuous surveillance, looking like you're doing something. And the gang stalking police do the same thing, wearing a uniform and a pistol, as though they're supposed to be appearing as though they're engaged in the execution of the duties of officers. They're not, they're stalking. And the entity is doing that in the specific environment. This is P.O.C. Here's my shadow that's surrounding me. All right, and this is the pattern of conduct. This is speaking to the threat that the entity engages in concert with the government. All right, this is light activity, facilitation. FedEx is not interested in delivering packages to you. FedEx is interested in monitoring your genitalia, stalking you, conspiring your murder, profiting from it. It is a federal RICO case, and these are psychopaths that are on the roads and the highways. So you will be losing your driving privileges as you do it. It's core to the driving that you're doing with regard to a job that's actually criminal's event. They're losing the commercial means of driving as well. This is a comprehensive prosecution. It's 8:17 p.m. Iron Skillet is gang stalking while FedEx is a means of facilitation. The people of the state in their facilitating venues where they reside, the people of the state that just gang stalk outside of facilitating venues. The entity is doing so with the city of Ontario, using lighting on the buildings as light activity. This is the entity that's doing so at what is Euclid and H Street. This is where I was this morning. FedEx is the nighttime version of what is the fake sun this morning, in concert with the U.S. military that were stalking in those commercial planes. Where there are no takeoffs over here, literally the prosecution is complete against FedEx by what I documented this morning. They're showing you that FedEx is a terrorist. That's what you're learning. FedEx is a terrorist. You already knew that. These are demons that give you more evidence to that end. This is P.O.C. It's criminal to stalk on the roads and the highways. 38733 Robert 2. This is all criminal. It's a prosecution of that population. This is P.O.C. It is currently driving in the engineered environment, stalking with the corporate entities, doing so on behalf of the government, while they engage in things such as keep you under surveillance, and it's under the fake moon. FedEx is being federally prosecuted. That's P.O.C. It is currently 8:18 p.m. All right, reliable properties, sex offender. You already know that that's built into the prosecution for gang stalking. The corporate entity is being prosecuted as a terrorist, as a sex offender, a co-conspirator of murder, and is engaged in the conspiracy to murder while stalking with the U.S. military, minor children, with impunity, and while profiting from it. The entity is engaged in sexual assault and battery while the people of the state are under the fake moon. Gang stalk in the military is captured above the plaza. The fake moon is over me, following me to the venue. And there is no further investigation. This is prosecution regarding what's going to be damages and sentencing, deportation, etc. because the entity went out of its way to stalk by helicopter. So this is the entity that's gang stalking while they know, and they've been engaging in that. And that is speaking to what is exacerbating what is the charges and the criminal acts committed. License, sexual assault and battery. License plate. With minor children in the back, license plate. 8 Frank Queen George 497. They are gang stalking at the Giant Value where you saw the Asian male pacing with the helicopter. The entity is engaging with a stalking by commercial planes, doing so under the fake sun morning and afternoon and evening, doing so after they've already been engaged in terrorism, and those that are immigrants even with that boldness to continuously engage in terrorism in the United States. Terrorism in the United States is going to be dealt with very sternly, and this is an entity that is exposed as terrorists, and you're looking at their attitude toward terrorism that is being addressed. And so this is what the entity is engaging in the face of that documentation, and they are doing so while they are monitoring also the evidence. License 64107 Victor 3 is the license plate of the third party with the same pattern. Now you have these little broke down mom and pop shops providing what is inventory. They're getting their stocking now. Like this is what Stater Brothers is doing on a smaller scale. Gang stalking. This is the P.O.C. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be bringing in puppy dogs. You're monitoring. And you did so with the entity by helicopter. This is the P.O.C. This is the not so bright group of gang stalkers. They all committed sexual assault and battery right now. You're being deported for sexual assault and battery with engineer light. You're going to be committed. This is the P.O.C. though. It is, by the way, 8:27 p.m. Alrighty, the third-party license that I documented with the minor child engaged in what is stalking, and the black Jetta is what you'll see. Maintaining light activity while stalking with the store. So monitoring me while the demons are pacing inside of the store and maintaining flashing of light. This is what FedEx is doing at 8th Street. This is what the people of the state are doing along Euclid Avenue as I'm walking up and down the street while the demons are pacing in the sky space. This is P.O.C. This is Giant Value. This little mom and pop store is not going to last. I'm going to prosecute them. This is the entity that's monitoring, the entity that's monitoring inside of the store, though. That demon is sitting at the entrance with the hazard lights on, monitoring. This is terrorism while they're engaging in stalking with light, while they're engaging in stalking as a population, going into the bathroom, going into the aisle inside of the store, stalking on the sidewalk. Every time I take a picture, a demon on a bike with a spotlight on. They're being prosecuted for that. That is terrorism. P.O.C. Alrighty, license 8 Zebra Kelly Paul 547, sexual assault and battery.
License 8 Yolanda, Indiana Victor 956, sexual assault and battery. The Gym, Pizza Hut, The Smoke Shop, Kids Empire, they're all corporate actors engaging in sexual assault and battery, and the license plates I'm preparing to document right now are sharing in this immediate action that the entities engaged in this iteration of the P.O.C. The entire population is being prosecuted as a sex offender and engaging in what is sexual assault and battery while they are stalking with light. The entity is always violating the person, and this is also the proof that they are monitoring and they're also mentally ill. The entity, I take a picture, I'm assaulted with light. I take a picture, I'm sexually assaulted with light. I take a picture, I'm assaulted with light. This is what the entity is doing while they are monitoring, and they're stalking on the roads and the highways. They're stalking in their cars in furtherance of murder. License 8, George Uncle Sam 960. This is P.O.C. All right, Reliable Properties is the corporate entity that is being federally prosecuted as a sex offender. And this is a corporate entity that engages in sexual violence in furtherance of murdering you. It is providing criminal assistance, that's referred to as criminal facilitation, while you are subject to sexual assault and battery via engineer light, while you are subject to surveillance under the fake sun, the fake moon, while Reliable Properties are profiting from that ongoing facilitation under all circumstances for which you do not have a defense, while your employees, while the property, the occupants of the property are engaging in that pattern of conduct. You are being federally prosecuted. You have profited from terrorism, and you are also, just so that you know, as a matter of policy, you're not ignorant about that. The entities engage in surveillance in California, it's surveillance throughout the United States, and this is a means of holding corporate entities civilly and criminally responsible. Reliable Properties is engaging in sexual violence while the people of the state are welcome on the grounds of that venue, around the grounds of that venue that is relevant position, while the government is engaging in what is surveillance through them in concert with them while they are profiting. They literally are going to Reliable Properties to compensate Reliable Properties by being consumers and gang stalking together with the military. And that is while engaging in sexual assault, sexual violence, sex acts, in other words, while they are stalking. Reliable Properties is a stalker in that environment that defies nature. All right, that's the P.O.C. The entities engage in that, and the sex offenders themselves are identified by license plates. So you can literally do your own research into the people of the state who are violent sex offenders who are being documented. Their identities are being published. And this is relevant to the bigger picture regarding the terrorism that the government is engaging in. And the government is identified as the people of the state. These are not private citizens, and they're not even humans, they're demons. All right, they engage in ongoing supernatural behavior that they thought was going to cause someone else to be depicted as mentally ill, because you're not supposed to ever be able to prove what the heck a fake sun is. I came up with the phrase engineer light, but what that is, and if I were to describe that, and I don't have evidence, all of those that sat up and viewed what was supposed to be a sacrifice, you actually went to watch and view something as demonic, as cruel, as sick as watching someone be sacrificed, and you would be the first one. You would be excited to label that person who is indeed being targeted by demons, including you, as being mentally ill. But that's not the case. We have both what is identifying it and defining it, and a body of evidence exemplifying it. Because the only one that's mentally ill are the demons that are stalking with light. And it's a sex offense committed by an entity, and that includes the corporate entity. This is the P.O.C. It is currently 8:39 p.m.